In the old days of King Arthur, the land of Britain was filled with magic and fairy power, and an elf queen who danced in the meadows with the company of her kingdom. Or so I have read in books. But such magic cannot be found anymore, as the land is filled with begging friars in every place. And although there were incubi in those days, demons who rape sleeping women, the friars are now the ones who dishonor women. And it happened that in King Arthur's court there was a young knight who, riding through the woods one day, saw a young lady and, with his sense of power and dominion, he took advantage of her. News of this incident soon became a massive scandal in the king's court, and by outcries of the people he was sentenced to death. But the queen and ladies of the court requested that his life be spared on one condition. If the knight could learn what women desire most, he could live.
I grant you life if you can tell me what women desire most. If you cannot tell me right now, I will still give you 12 months and a day to seek out your answer and save your life.
The knight was filled with sorrow, but decided he must travel across the land for that year and then face the kingdom. He searched in every place and asked his question of every person, but he could not find two people who agreed on one right answer. Some said women love riches best, some said honor, or mirth, or even fancy clothes. The closest to truth came the response of flattery. I will not deny it, a man shall win us best by flattery. However, many other possible answers were offered, and without having resolved his problem, the knight returned home. On his journey back, he rode through the edge of a forest and witnessed 24 ladies and more dancing.
Yes, so crazy right now. Most incredibly, it's your girl, me, it's your boy, Young. You ready?
As he drew closer in hopes of procuring some wisdom, the ladies vanished and only an ugly old woman remained. Knowing he must be searching for something, she spoke.
Sir Knight, there is no path that lies this way. Tell me, by your faith, what do you seek? Perhaps it may be better for you. These old people know many things.
In truth, I am just a dead man, unless I can say what thing it is that women desire most. If you could help me, I would repay you well for your work.
Pledge me your word here on my hand that you will do the first thing that I require of you. If it should lie in your power, and before it is night, I will tell you.
Take my pledge here, I agree.
Then I dare to boast that your life is safe, for upon my soul I will guarantee that the queen will say as I do.
The old woman reassured him. Then she whispered in his ear, and she told him not to be afraid. Arriving back at the king's court, the knight announced that he had prepared his answer and presented it without hesitation to the many noble ladies and the queen.
My liege lady, over all this world, women wish to have sovereignty as well over her husband as her love, and to have mastery over him. This is your greatest desire, though you may slay me for this.
Confidently, the knight gave his life over to the queen's will, and there was not one woman who could say his answer was wrong, and they declared his life was spared. At that, the old woman rose and spoke to the queen.
Mercy, my sovereign lady, I have taught him this answer in return for his word that he would do the first thing I ask of him. Before the court, then, I pray to you, Sir Knight, that you take me as your wife, for you well know that I have saved your life. If I speak falsely, say no to me upon your faith.
The knight was horrified by this request and begged her to choose another way in which he could repay her.
I know full well that was my promise. Take all my goods and let my body go.
But the old woman did not acquiesce and insisted that he keep his promise.
No, then, I curse us both. For though I may be ugly, poor, and old, I would like none of all the metal or ore that is buried under the earth or lies upon it, only that I would be your wife and your love also.
My love, no, my damnation! Alas, that any of my kindred should be so foully disgraced by such a match.
But the king's court held him accountable for his promise to the old woman, and despite his protests, he had to marry her. Now, some may say that I have forgotten to include the stories of the celebration and joy in the wedding that day, but there was only misery. He married her in secret that next morning and stayed hidden away inside all day out of shame because of his ugly wife. And he was so dejected when he was alone with her that she asked what his trouble was.
Oh, dear husband, does every knight act this way with his wife? Is this the way of King Arthur's marriage? Am I your own love and wife also, and I surely saved your life? You act like a man who has lost his wit. Tell me, for I am the love of God, and I have the power, it shall be amended.
Alas, no, it cannot be amended forevermore. You are so lowly and so old, and come of so low a lineage as well. I wish to God my heart would burst.
Now, sir, I can amend this all, so that you might bear yourself toward me well. But when you speak of gentility, as I descended from the ancient wealth, such arrogance is not worth a hen. The wise poet of Florence, who is named Dante, speaks well on this manner. Seldom does a man climb to excellence on his own, for God wills that we claim our gentility from him. Now you reproach me for my old age, and surely you honorable gentlefolk say that men should do courtesy to an old creature. Choose one of these two things. You have me foul and old until I die, and you have a true, humble wife, or else me a young and beautiful and unfaithful.
The knight thought long and hard about it and sighed deeply, but at last he spoke.
My lady in love, please, choose which may be the greatest pleasure and honor to you and to me. I care not which of the two, for it is sufficient for me to please you.
Then I have mastery over you, since I govern as I wish.
Yes, surely, and I believe that is for the best.
Kiss me, we will be angered no longer. For my faith, I will be both unto you, that is to say, both beautiful and yes, good.
And when the knight looked at his wife again, he saw that she was so young and beautiful. He kissed her 1,000 times, and she did everything she could to please him. And so they lived together in happiness for all their lives. And may Jesus Christ bless us with husbands to rule and grace to outlive them.